If you invite me to tell you my story, I have three options. The most likely thing is that I will tell you something about my past. I've noticed that as we get older, we tend to pay greater attention to the stories of our childhood and younger years, perhaps in an attempt to understand the people we have become. The least likely option is that I will tell you something about what is happening to me in the present. I used my precious one walk outside today to really pay attention to my surroundings. God invites us to be fully present to each moment, but I regret that most often I'm too busy rushing headlong into the third part of my story, which is the future I project for myself. Our futures may harbour fears, but it's more likely that we'll focus on those things we are looking forward to. The birthdays, anniversaries, holidays and special events, all set against a projected future which is usually pretty much like the present, with all those things which give us security, family, friends, job, house, church routines, all carrying on in the status quo. For most of us, this projected story is the basis of our hope for the future. Any severe disruption of that story is likely to be traumatic for us and a source of grief. Which is why, with COVID-19 disrupting all our expectations, we are a world now swimming in grief and trauma. Before the coronavirus, I was supposed to be in Japan right now. I was looking forward to the cherry blossom, but far more important was that I was going at the invitation of our youngest son. It's just one example of the way in which all those special events we were looking forward to and investing hope in have been wiped from the calendar. But of greater significance is the disruption of the assumed status quo for so many people. Family and friends people expected to grow old with, suddenly gone. Jobs lost. Businesses ruined. A future unimaginable just a few short weeks ago, hopes dashed against the rocks. Most of the hope humans cherish is hope for something. For a long life, for health, happiness, for a new relationship, a child, prosperity, even an end to war. This sudden crisis reveals the vulnerability of our hopes for specific outcomes. More secure is the hope that rests in God. Hope in God allows us to have a greater openness to whatever the future holds, because we know that when we find ourselves in a Good Friday place, beyond the long Holy Saturday, there is the promise of resurrection life. Hope in God keeps our eyes on the light which the darkness will never overcome. I know my future story will always have things I'm hoping for, but I want it to have as its foundation a hope in the God I know in Jesus Christ.